Okay, so I'm parked here, and this is going to be the Palisades Loop Trail that I'm hiking today. I know it says Cool Hollow Trail, but the thing is that this park is, it's going to be several of their trails connected to make this loop trail, and it's going to give you pretty much all the experiences of this park. This is in Iowa. So apparently they had Indian mounds here, and there was an older gentleman that owned this property for his life, and when he passed away, instead of just letting it go to anyone, he decided that he wanted to preserve this property and give this property to the state of Iowa under the condition that they turn it into a park due to its beauty. And Iowa has kept that promise. And they have turned this into a park. Have campgrounds here, and they have different hiking trails. It's not a lot. I think there's a total of 6 miles of hiking trails. This loop that we're doing is on all trails. It combines almost all of those other hiking trails, but kind of cuts out a few sections of it so that you can see not only the woodland area that we're seeing now, but it's going to go against the ridges of the river that runs right through this area here in Iowa and allow you to see the cliff sides and things like that. So we're about to find out what all this location has to offer. One thing is for sure, they have to offer a lot of squirrels. I've seen nothing but squirrels while I've been here in Iowa. And the last couple of days that I've been up here, it has done nothing but pour and rain. So this trail may be pretty muddy. We'll have to see. See some deer track here in the trail, which on my way in I came upon a mother deer and her fawn. Take a look and see. Looks like our trail continues this direction across this bridge. I love these ferns. As a kid, I always loved dinosaurs, and I still do, but it just kind of reminds me of the ferns and the dinosaurs and that area. Okay, so we get to cross the bridge on this trail. Like I said, as you can see, there's another trail here. This connects all the trails in the park and gives you supposedly all the best views. We're about to find out. I was kind of excited to get to see this bridge. This right here was one of the biggest valleys, and you know, I can buck out of the valleys of the entire hike. See how it changed trail names? Looks like I crossed the road here. Like I said, I use all trails. Use this here to try to make sure I stay on the path, especially on trails like this that join several different trails. Makes it harder to follow because you don't know exactly which sign you're supposed to be following. Hello, y'all doing all right?
Yeah.
I hear something in the distance over here. Like I said, I'm not familiar with this place, so I don't know if there's a hydroelectric dam or some type of rushing water, but at a far distance you can probably hear it on this camera. The sound of rushing water. Looks like we may get to see what that sound is. Still trying to follow this trail. It's kind of strange. It kind of goes on some of the roads and stuff like that. It's a little bit different of a trail. Got off the trail a little bit, it looks like. Looks like I'm supposed to follow this road. Well, I can start to see water flowing. Guess this takes you right here for a bathroom break. Alright, so see, now we're on our third trail already. Take this side quest here. Looks like there's some type of small lookout. Oh wow. The river looks like it's flowing pretty good today. Like I said, we've had lots and lots of rain the last few days here. trees falling. Looks like some man-made spillway they've built here. You can see the concrete there. These bluffs and stuff really remind me of Arkansas. It's kind of funny walking these trails. It's reminds me a lot of Arkansas, but yet as soon as you get out of these small parks, almost everything's flat and cornfields. They got a couple state parks in this area. I believe 3 that I've been to so far, maybe a few more, but they're all right around these bodies of water, and the landscape's just like this. Rugged, lots of big giant trees, wildlife, the rivers, but yet you go into the towns and they're nothing like this. They're all just little farming communities. And all the land around this is just flat and cornfields, but yet they have these beautiful spots that you can go and hike. I feel like you're in a whole nother state. Wow. We're up on one of the bluffs. Looks like these are 2 paths that take you to the same spot. Today is actually not a bad day weather-wise. We found it kind of comical that they were on the news this morning and discussing the weather and telling people to be careful. The heat index was supposed to be 100, but yet it really hasn't felt that bad here. Woodchuck. I would say it probably feels around 75 or 80 in Arkansas. Just because of the humidity we have in Arkansas versus here, even with all the rain, the humidity is not near what it is in Arkansas. Even during some of our drier spells. Alright, there's the road. Let's make sure I'm... Okay, so I continue by the ridge. We're not switching trails yet. Pretty little fishing spot down there. Big old dead trees, neat. More chipmunks. All right, we are in a field. Check out those caves inside the bluffs. I do have to say that's been a pretty neat park so far. What little bit I've seen of it so far. I actually didn't get the opportunity to drive around. I stopped at the front gate and kind of made sure I had my navigation pointed towards the trailhead and just kind of went straight there. see the water calming down the closer we get, or the further we get from that kind of dam. Alright, let's see a trailhead here. Looks like we keep going past this camper's trail. Just follow this. Looks like a home built up there on the ridge. Pretty house. You doing all right? Now this is pretty. I think this is another trail here. I think we're on our 4th or 5th trail here. Woodchuck up on the rock. Those rocks are beautiful. We get a lot of those in Arkansas and I love them. Can't ever get enough of a pretty rock. Okay. Trail kind of splits off here. Okay, so that's definitely a different trail. So we're going to continue this way. Like I said, there's several trails here. I think there was 6. They're all relatively short. And so what this trail does, and all trails provides it, is it takes you pretty much through all 6 trails and combines them and links them together. I've already hiked 1.5 miles. So, like I said, it's roughly 3.2 mile hike. So we're hitting the halfway point. Kind of neat. Even though it's a fallen tree over the trail, it's still pretty neat. Seeing a raspberry on the ground. I don't see any raspberry bushes. See a little side quest. It's hard for me not to pass up a side quest. You almost see me break myself on this side quest. I bet that's a good fishing spot. Out there under that tree. Wonder how often the water's up this high that the trees are rubbing. That house built over there, you can see they've got kayaks down there. Looks like they can hike down that little ravine and get on their kayak. That's cool. I made it down this. Let's see if I can make it back up. The rocks are pretty. Wow. Wow, look at those rocks. Look how those root systems have just broken up those stones. I've got to be careful looking up at rocks, and I don't want to trip over one of these rocks sticking up. So many little caverns and stuff for wildlife to live in. Turtles. Jumping off the log down there. Side quest. Okay. Actually, it looks like it goes quite a ways up there. Pretty neat. I gotta navigate this back down. Oh, steps. Look at that. That's neat. The gazebo. The directions. Pretty good. How about you guys?
شي تقريبا روح بنزل كاسا ورا غلو تو فوكو غسرا كان شيورنا او تو بعدو په جمعات کې په منځ وراو شي بس پدا کې چې کندای خوستا ګل ما یو مشاوري شي اغم دای بچی مچی هم نشته دروته یو آغا و یو دوی په کارخانه کې کار کوي
Smells like I'm near the campground. I can smell charcoal, and I can also smell the scent of lighter fluid. I'm guessing that trail leads right back up to the campground. Pretty neat here. Rocks outlining the trail. That's cool. That ravine. Almost cut a shortcut through here. Kind of skip this. Little bridge. That's pretty. Well, I've seen it, so I gotta go on the side quest. That's pretty. It's real pretty. A lot of little ledges here you can kind of walk out on and look. It's real nice.
Right? And he had to carry like his pack on his back, and it was running the whole time. It was running, okay. And so then he had to also pack, like he was trying to find the most nutrient-dense foods that would like.
Wow. A lot of little views off of this. Alright. Camp entrance on. Okay, yeah. That's not the trail that we're taking. Deer back there. My theory why I see so many deer here is because it's a very small area that the deer can live in, other than a bunch of cornfields. And so they probably stay in these parks quite often, and then venture out and eat some corn, and then come right back to nest in these trees areas. Forest. Oh, that's cool. The river kind of splits and there's like an island there. But because the forest to cornfield ratio is so different compared to like Arkansas, where it's like 80% forest and the rest is city or farmland. This is probably the exact opposite, 20% forest and 80% farmland, so the deer are more packed in here. And some of the locals have kind of told me the same thing. They see a lot of deer and wildlife in these parks they don't see anywhere else. Kind of a steep drop there. Wow. That's pretty. This here reminds me of hiking around Hot Springs, Arkansas. I've got a lot of rocks just right in the city. The city's kind of built right there in a ravine of a couple mountains, and rocks like this are right next to the buildings. It's cool. Alrighty, looks like I've got another Y in the road. Alright, so if you can see my maps here, I can turn right and that'll take me back to the vehicle, but this trail continues on to a few lookouts, and then we'll hike back and finish out the trail to the vehicle. So we're going to continue hiking this ridge line because there's a few more views that we want to see. We'll come back to this location and hike that direction. Wow. More stairs. And a lot of them. Head up to the top of the hill and there's just plain grass. Lots of trails kind of leading off. I don't know if those are animals or... Must be some standing water somewhere. Lots of gnats and mosquitoes right here. Notice a lot of wood bees on this trail. Or carpenter bees, I believe is what they're called. I call them wood bees, but carpenter bees. Squirrel. Sounds like a woodpecker. That's pretty, all them trees down. Some type of little fence they've got set up there. I don't know what that's for. Not a very sturdy fence. Looks like a small plastic stakes and string. I don't know if that's someone's private property. Now this is cool. There's trees right here. How they've just fallen and layered over each other. All right. Looks like we're going back downhill. Not so bad to go down. It's the hike back up here shortly. Here are owls. Oh, look at those ferns. Beautiful. You can't tell I enjoy a good fern. check my navigation. Coming to the end of this trail. Guess it hikes you down to the bottom of this canyon. Guessing this is the end of the trail. Yep. So what I've got to do now is turn around and hike back to where that split is, and then hike over to the vehicle. So y'all have seen this. I'm gonna go ahead and pack up the camera, get to back to where the split is, and then continue filming. All right, so we've made it back to where the trailhead splits and heads back towards the vehicle. Saved you from having to rewatch what I just hiked through. If you want to rewatch it, just play it back in reverse. Back up another mountain. deer right there. All right, here comes the end of our trail, but I found one more thing I want to hike to today, and I'll show you guys. Finished my hiking for the day. Beautiful park, but the one place I did want to show you doesn't exist. I finally broke down, stopped, talked to the park ranger just to see if he knew where it was, and if I just happened to miss it past, even though I went on most of the trails, I did skip parts of them that were, actually routed around with this extra long trail that hits all of them. So I missed several sections, and I thought maybe it was on one of those sections, and I was going to quickly go there and show you. What it was a rock formation, kind of like an archway of rock and a stairs that went through it. So doesn't exist at this park. Somebody on Google Maps posted it, and apparently it's from another location. It would have been beautiful. I'll see y'all in the next one.